Hi, everyone. Harry here. Trump said at a speech recently, I don't think the law firms have done anything wrong, but they're giving me all this money and I'll take it, which really did reveal his hand because all courts who have looked at it, his actions against law firms have concluded the same. And now we have a new one. The Susman Godfrey firm, which was targeted because and expressly they represented Dominion in the lawsuit against Fox, which resulted in the $787 million settlement against Fox after the case in discovery developed all this evidence that Fox knew it was lying when it, in the wake of the 2020 election, disparaged the Dominion machines and made all these dark conspiratorial claims, all made up, knowingly made up, and abetting Trump's outrageous constitutional hijacking and attempted insurrection by saying there was fraud here and the election was stolen. Always total horseshit. Okay. Now, they go after Susman Godfrey, however, specifically for doing this. The world has so turned upside down. The prosecutors who prosecuted January 6 cases, 3 of them were just fired for that very reason when they did righteous work. And Susman Godfrey represented Dominion in a very righteous lawsuit against terrible conduct and knowingly defamatory conduct on Fox News's part. And for that, Trump now goes after them with a gun at the head. And it's the same kind of thing that he's done unsuccessfully with other firms. But here's what he said. The move of handicapping and forcing Susman Godfrey to do all this work. He goes after Susman Godfrey because they successfully, and in the tradition of what lawyers in this country are supposed to do, get vindication for a pretty bad wrong. That is Fox News, the most watched cable news by a long shot, completely smearing them. So somehow, with no further explanation than this, Trump comes out and says the move is necessary to address, this quote, the significant risks, egregious conduct, and conflicts of interest. What the hell does that mean? We have no friggin' idea, and it's exactly the kind of thing that, is in play now all the more after last week's opinion. Can he just say vague, conclusory stuff like this, and would that somehow fly? Well, not in front of this district court. Judge Ali Khan, who is a member of the D.C. District Court, from which so many of these rulings have issued, same court, say, as Jeb Boasberg, simply says, the order sets out that it's made pursuant to the authority vested in Donald Trump. But I can't find any basis anywhere in any statute or any constitutional provision. It is completely without authority. It's as if Trump stood up and demanded the sun to go into eclipse, or that people just do jumping jacks on the Washington Mall. There's no basis for doing it. That's what she's saying. In addition, there is the whole panoply of problems that other courts have identified. Mainly, this is a reprisal for First Amendment protected activity. And that is about the hardest thing for government ever to justify. It's even harder than viewpoint discrimination in general, is to actually try to take punitive action for First Amendment protected activity. So Ali Khan, in very strong terms, just completely sweeps this aside and says there's zip and nothing here at all, even arguably within your authority as president. It just ain't there. So now we have, again, the prospect of the administration trying to appeal. But remember, this is exactly the setting that people were invoking when they talked about the case last Friday, because here we have Trump comes out and does an order against Susman Godfrey, as he did against several other firms, Jenner, Block, Wilmer Hale, who fought it. He loses. He loses because, as even he seems to recognize, his orders are totally bankrupt, have no basis, are just, total crap. In other instances, like the immigration setting, the administration rushes on emergency motion to a court of appeals and tries to get it reversed. Here, of course, what they can do instead, and this is what the court has now countenanced by saying no nationwide injunctions. Okay, we just can't get away with this in D.C. Let's try our luck maybe in Montana or whatever. He can move to other places because there's no nationwide injunction in play. And in fact, that's been an effort from the law firms. What do you do to try to kind of get a global prohibition? And that's why the American Bar Association has brought a lawsuit purporting to be for the whole industry. That lawsuit's going to be challenging to proceed based on standing and other things. And if it doesn't, we have the administration able to just play whack-a-mole lawlessly, knowing, as Trump has said himself, they got nothing, but this is a way of intimidating and humiliating law firms for the effrontery of taking any kind of action that, this wasn't, of course, against Trump, it's against Fox, but the enemy of my friend is my enemy. It so shows the kind of really sort of unholy alliance of Fox News and the administration and MAGA generally. You went after them. Guess what? I'm president now and I'm coming after you. So it gets completely blocked. On the other hand, now Susman Godfrey has to think, like the other firms have, am I going to, have trouble in big cases where I need somebody in the government to just make a fair call on the merits because I'm on this persona non grata list, even though, or all the more so because I've beaten Donald Trump in court. So it's not as if this resounding victory, which they deserve, is cost-free for them, and it's part of the whole kind of corrupt enterprise that these orders after law firms represent. But there you go, a judge saying, basically, are you kidding me? There is nothing here whatsoever. And nevertheless, the administration able to maybe try their luck in another district with another firm. So this is the way it works now without any possibility of nationwide injunction, at least in this setting. We've talked about this before and I have another tape on it this morning, but, will they be able to will challengers be able to bring class actions since they can't do nationwide injunctions? This one, it strikes me as tough. Class action for all the law firms that he's gone after. It's just hard to sort of lump them together and say they're all in the same position, etc. But that's what we're talking about in this latest meritless effort by Trump to just slap around a law firm for no reason at all other than doing its job and doing it well. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.